Hey guys, made a video recently about some kids fashion in Japan, specifically the fashion, the clothes that they wear to their joining ceremony for their elementary schools. So I thought I'd just expand on that because it is a big thing here, and that is anytime that there's a new group formed or a group of people coming together, there's sort of almost always a formal starting point. And so in the example with the kids' elementary school, they have a joining ceremony. So before elementary school actually starts, maybe the week before, they have a ceremony, and the parents and the kids go to the ceremony, and all the kids are introduced individually, one by one, and they stand up and say, "Pleased to meet you," and someone introduces, says their name, and they sit back down. The next name, the next person stands up, says, "Pleased to meet you." Now, they do the same thing in kindergarten. They have a joining ceremony in kindergarten, and the same thing, everybody dresses in formal clothes, and they have the formal ceremony, and they also have the graduation from kindergarten. So they have the joining ceremony for kindergarten, the graduation ceremony for kindergarten. Graduating from kindergarten is an interesting thing, isn't it? Imagine if you didn't manage to graduate from kindergarten, you know? No, I flunked kindergarten, I flunked finger painting. So, joining ceremony, graduation ceremony from kindergarten, joining ceremony for elementary school, graduation ceremony from elementary school, so again, graduation, and proper certificates. Kindergarten and elementary school, they have proper certificates, and they all get up one by one, their name's called, and they come up, and it's all very formal, and they get the actually it's super formal. What they do is they come up and it's all choreographed. So one person comes up and they take their diploma from kindergarten in finger painting, and they hold it above their head and they bow, and then they move one pace to the left, and the next person steps up and takes it. Really tightly choreographed. Kindergarten, preschool, junior high school, university. It's the same ceremony, same thing for each level. But just expanding on this, that's interesting enough, I think. In Australia, there's no real formal ceremony until end of high school. You have a graduation ceremony usually, but I'd never heard of one for an elementary school, and definitely never heard of one for a kindergarten. So anyway, there's all that. Then expanding on this, even if there's a one-day group, so those groups are groups that last for a year or a few years, but even if there's a one-day group, so for example, I've been to martial arts competitions for 2 or 3 different martial arts around the country, and if it's a small group of 20 people or a big group of 2,000 people, it's always the same format. So they say, Aisatsu meeting is at 8 o'clock. So at 8 o'clock, everybody's lined up in very regimented lines, and usually one of the senior people does a greeting, good morning to everybody. Everybody bows, good morning, and they say, and usually sort of some greeting, and then they usually introduce the most senior person there, and they do a formal speech. And whether it's 20 people or 2,000 people, it's virtually the same speech. It's very formal. It uses very formal Japanese. They'll say, minasan, honjitsu wa oisugashi naka, and it's basically a formal greeting. And then they're saying, everybody welcome, in formal Japanese, everybody welcome, and in the middle of your busy, oisugashi naka, so in the middle of your busy. So it sort of means even though you're busy, you've come here anyway, sort of thing. It's sort of part of the Japanese idea of the Ganbaru thing, where try hard. So something's difficult and you tried and you did it. So you're really busy, but you managed to come here anyway. Fantastic. And if there's some other stuff going on, like snow, or it's cold, or it's particularly hot, or something like that, they'll usually say that as well. That even though it's really cold, you've come here. Even though you're busy, even though you're very busy and you're very cold, you've come here. Even though you're really busy and it's hot, you've come here. And they always say that. So it's a very formal greeting speech, aisatsu. it's a greeting or meeting speech, and almost always exactly the same format, you know, no matter what it is. And then at the end of the day or the week or the year or whatever it is, they have a closing ceremony, and it's the same thing, and a very formal speech. So a senior person introduces the most senior person again, and he says, oh, you know, everybody tried very hard today. Well, no matter what it is, you know, everybody tried very hard today and did their best, even though it was cold, you know, or even though it was hot, or, you know, whatever happens to be going on, even though it was windy. So it's very formal. So it's sort of like any time, you know, it's 20 people or 2,000 people, any time, or even a smaller group. Even if you have a group of 5 or 6 people, they'll still have like a same sort of thing. So at the beginning, you know, 5 or 6 people doing something, there'll be some sort of meeting at the beginning, and there'll be a sort of a closing meeting at the end. And yeah, also added to the fact, of course, that when you do things as a group in Japan, you shouldn't really be late. We've talked about this before. You shouldn't be really late arriving, and you shouldn't really leave early. So everybody wants to sort of arrive at the same time, and everybody wants to leave at the same time, so that they're all doing the right thing. So I guess that sort of fits in with the whole meeting thing as well, because, you know, if you arrive in time for that first meeting, you know, you're not late. And if you stay there until the last meeting, the thank you very much and see you later meeting, then you've done the right thing as well. You've been there from the open to the close. It just sort of gives it a regimented open and close, you know. And again, it might be a one-day event, or it might be a one-week event, or it might be if it's a one-week event where you go every day. So I've been to competitions like that before too, where every day you go to the thing, and they'll do it every day. So if it's a one-week event, they'll have one big opening ceremony at the beginning, and then every day they'll have an opening and closing ceremony, you know. So, and very formal, very, very formal, you know, very, very formal. Lots of bowing going on, and dead quiet. If you find yourself at one of these things, you know, don't talk or anything, of course, because you'll find everybody will be dead quiet. Everyone's listening and showing respect to the people that are talking and so on. So yeah, anyway, I'm not quite sure which playlist to put this on. It probably should go on the how-to, I guess, on the how-to playlist, because if you get involved with any groups in Japan, it'll be good to know to expect this, because it will happen. And the same as if you come to Japan and get a job here working for some company, or get involved with any group, or, you know, you're likely to come across it. You know, if you have a job here, they often do it in companies. They practice, they get together first thing in the morning, and usually if you ask people, you know, if people work for companies that do this, if you ask them if it's useful, you know, hey, are those meetings useful? They usually say no. It's just they do it because they do it. They do it because that's what's done. And usually those meetings in the morning aren't real useful, you know. They often, if it's like, I know one guy that works at a department store, and they get together in the morning and practice greeting the customers. And that's why if you walk into department stores and other shops, the greeting from the staff usually is exactly the same. The tone and the style of greeting, it's usually the same words, you know, but it's the style, it varies, you know. Some places really sing-song, some places really formal, and they get together with the manager and they practice, you know, practice greeting the customer, and practice thanking the customer, and that sort of stuff. So yeah, if you work for a Japanese company, you'll be doing that. You'll be doing that every morning, or, you know, at least one morning a week, and then you know, maybe at the end of the day as well, there'll be something. Likewise, if you're a member of any group here, or if you spend time with anybody who is a member of a group, you go to something with them. So yes, I will put it on the how-to playlist, because this is a good thing to be aware of. The aisatsu, and even though you're really busy, thanks for coming. So even though you're extremely busy, thank you very much for watching my video. I'm sorry it wasn't very interesting. More videos coming soon.